3 years after moving to a lonely house on the edge of town, where streetlights never reached and darkness fell untouched, a teenage boy had claimed the mountainside behind his home as his own. The hill rose behind the house like a sleeping beast, rolling upward toward its rocky spine at the top. He'd walked every inch of it, explored it in summer heat, winter frost, and late evening quiet when the crickets fell silent. He believed he knew that mountain better than anyone. He was wrong. The foothills were brittle grass and brush so thick it exploded with grasshoppers at every step. Higher up, pine trees groaned even when the air was still, their trunks murmuring with secrets. Above that was the bald clearing, a silent plateau where the world stretched wider and distant cars looked like sparks crawling the opposite ridge. Here, he rested in branch hammocks he had woven by hand. His sanctuary, his kingdom. But kingdoms can change. A school friend, Roman, stayed the weekend. The plan was simple, pizza games, and maybe a hike. But before dawn, weather alerts rattled phones across the county. Wind howled, rain hammered the metal roof like poured coins, and lightning trembled through the walls. They watched the storm move like a living thing. Morning brought something worse. Hailstones the size of golf balls beat the house with the violence of gunfire. Each strike flashed with ozone and pale electric light. Then, lightning struck in the middle of the hail. Something rare. Something wrong. When the storm faded, the daylight returned, washed out and uncertain. The boys ran outside and played in the hail, unaware that the world beyond the house had changed. With snacks in hand, they climbed the wet slope. Roman followed, eager and unaware. The higher they climbed, the quieter the world became. No birds, no wind, no chatter. Just damp silence with weight behind it. At the bald clearing, the smell of wet metal drifted in the air. Then they saw it. A deer, crushed, broken, twisted into the grass as if it had fallen from the sky. Its blood had soaked the earth so deep the soil had turned black. Something had dropped it. Something big. Then the boys saw something else. A massive shape stood where nothing had been before. Towering trunk in the center of the clearing. But it was wrong. Too smooth, too straight, too soft, like skin with fur. They approached. A metallic scent thickened in the air. Blood streaked the top of the structure, and then it moved. The trunk split apart, folding open like a shell. Inside was motion, wet shadows and layers of enormous feathers, brown, tan, white-veined and ancient. A massive head emerged, but faceless only, the impression of a hooked beak and amber eyes without detail, like carved light. Wings unfurled outward, longer than trucks, feathers rustling with the sound of branches splintering. Thunder rolled not in the sky, but inside the creature. Roman froze. The mountain held its breath. It looked, first at them, then at the broken deer. One heartbeat later, the clearing erupted. The force of its wings slammed the boys off their feet as dirt and grass ripped upward like the world itself was inhaling. The boys scrambled, blinded by wind pressure that felt alive. The creature bent, took the deer, and snapped the body in half like kindling. Bones cracked. Flesh vanished piece by piece. When nothing remained but blood in the grass, the faceless shape turned toward the boys again. They ran. Behind them, the world exploded again. The creature took flight, its wings carving air like a scythe, uprooting grass in perfect spiral rings. The sky darkened instantly. Clouds twisted around it, as if the storm wasn't coming, but obeying. Lightning flickered inside the creature-shaped shadow as it rose higher until the storm swallowed it whole. Moments later, Hail began to fall again. The storm hadn't returned. It had followed. The boys hid beneath their tree hammocks as hail whispered and then hammered the ground. The forest stayed unnaturally quiet. No birds. No insects. No sound but ice and their own racing breaths. When the storm eased, a black scorch mark smoked in the center of the clearing. Rings of grass lay flattened outward like something massive had taken off. They said nothing on the way down. Some truths were too large to speak. Their mother scolded them for mud and ruined clothes. They barely heard. Inside, the boys searched the internet, hands shaking. Old newspaper scans. Native stories. Accounts of a colossal bird riding storms, bringing thunder tearing livestock apart during lightning strikes. Different witnesses. Different decades, same description. Massive, faceless, feathers stretching like wings of the sky itself. Roman whispered the one question neither wanted answered. What if it comes back? The boy didn't reply. Some storms aren't weather. Some storms are alive. And when the next one arrives, he'll know to look up.